Okay, we're live. All right, seems to be working. I didn't lose any chat. Welcome, everybody. Hello, everybody. Do you like the purple light? Check this out. This is my favorite. Boop, boop. Ooh, very bright. Sorry about that. I'm experimenting with streaming setups over here. Long story short. Okay, let's get this stream started. Thank you, everybody, for joining me. I'm extremely excited to have everybody here. And I have a whole bunch of stuff. So let's go over the agenda first. I have 4 announcements for you, and then I'm going to dive right into the shout outs and the questions. We've got a lot of wonderful content. I hope I can get through everything. I think I will, but yeah, I'm very excited. So let's see. First up, the first announcement is that this week we passed through 50,000 views on YouTube, which is insane. It is insane. I'm ever so grateful. I think most of it was shorts and some of it for videos that people have been coming back to, which is great because that was my intent. Like when I make a video as poor quality as it is, I'm working on it. But I do hope that first off, yes, my quality improves, but also I really, really, really hope that it helps people. And the fact that people are watching the videos and getting something out of it and it helps in their career and in their life and in their happiness. Yay! That's why I'm here. 50,000 views. That's crazy. Yay! Okay. Next up, announcement number 2 is I have my notes up here, so that's why you see me glancing heavenward. The Scene, which was the Providence 48-hour film project that I did last month. There was an award ceremony, and we won multiple prizes. We're so thrilled and happy. James Kinder won for Best Editing. So well deserved because comedy is tough, but editing comedy and getting that comedic timing, man, you've either got it or you don't, you know? Like comedic timing, some of it comes from within here, and he has got it. And it was hilarious. He cut it together beautifully, and I'm really glad that he was acknowledged with an editing award because it was so well deserved. And we all, the whole team, took home the best film, 3rd place. So we're not advancing to the next thing, but we came incredibly close, and that is incredibly thrilling. Shout out to Connor Morley, who put it all together, because this was his first 48, and I'm not entirely sure, but I think it might be his first film project. Connor, if you're here, drop a comment. I'm going to pretend that it is your first project because, well, first major project coming out of the gate. Well done, everybody. It was a joy to be on that set. It was a lot of fun. It was scrambling, as with all 48s, but I'm so glad, and it felt amazing to be acknowledged. So, yay. Next up, announcement number 3 is that Fortune Teller and Dibs on Mars will be screening at the Buffalo Dreams Fantastic Film Festival, and that is going to be in 2 weeks. And yours truly is attending, and I am over the moon. I haven't been to Buffalo in, well, it's been almost a year. But I went for the Valkyrie earlier this year, like very early this year. And I can't wait to go back and maybe see some familiar faces. But it'll be wonderful to screen those 2 films. I'm excited. I'll keep you posted. And maybe there will be some vlogging going on. Maybe. Hint, hint. And the last announcement is that I was surprised, but FilmSea, the 2nd annual FilmSea film festival, took place. It was an online event, and it came and went. Like I got the acceptance letter, and then I got the award notifications right after, and I was like, "Wait a minute, what just happened?" But Guidance won Best Drama Short. And Fortune Teller was nominated for Best Sci-Fi Short. So that's very exciting news. Let's toss those laurels on the pile, as it were. But I'm very excited. I just like 2 days ago found out, and I'm over the moon. I think it's wonderful. Those both projects are ending the festival run soon, so it's nice to go out on some high notes. It feels really good. So I will link a description, and hopefully, like if it gets going, like I'll be submitting there again. So we'll see. Let's see. So that's the announcements that I had for you. The next up, let's get started with some questions. I have got my questions ready for you. So here we go. The first one comes from our Ko-fi supporters and our Ko-fi followers. So Kimberly Rose is an actor writer, and she's wonderful. I've worked with her on a small project earlier this year. She's great. She asks, could you talk about inclusivity? I'm working on that right now for a film. Yeah, way to come out of the gate strong, right? No pressure. But we went on to have an interesting conversation about hi Nikki. We went on to I know, right? It's so great. We won. Yay. Nikki Lowney was in guidance, everybody, and fantastic. Like it wouldn't have won without her. Um let's see. Back to Kimberly's question. So she says that she's working on inclusivity for a film. Specifically, I think writers are more and more cognizant, and even producers, directors are more and more cognizant about there's a fine line between write what you know and coming from a place of ignorance and maybe being hurtful even by accident. So we've been given a lot more opportunity to have a glance at a script, maybe a passover at a script. Sometimes that includes a rewrite, sometimes that doesn't. But basically, the idea being that somebody from a certain walk of life is writing a story about another character from a different walk of life. And it all boils down to empathy and humility, because to want to write a story, you don't want to be hindered creatively. I can understand that point of view, but you also don't want to get it wrong. And I say that with strong, bold text, because just writing about pregnancy and birth, for example, if you've never experienced it, is maybe not something you want to do without getting somebody who's done that to take a look at your script. If you are a straight white dude writing about the gay experience in Latin America, like maybe you want to talk to some people from that community so that you don't say something wrong, so that your story has the weight of truth in it. Inclusivity is more than just a buzzword. It's a way of being. It's like just talk to people and listen to what they say. And that includes in your writing, that includes in your projects, and that includes on your sets. People more and more are standing up to say, I don't want to work with people who are bigoted. I don't want to work with people who don't get that, that are being sexist right now, especially since film is traditionally like a boys club. And sometimes women have had experiences that men are like, wait, that really happened to you? Yes. And so listening and appreciating those experiences is very important from A to Z, on set especially, but I mean, just in general in life. Like, let's be real about this. So yeah, Kimberly Rose brings up a very interesting and important topic right out of the gate. No pressure, right? Friendly Filmmaker believes in that term, friendly. I genuinely mean it. That's why I chose the name. Be kind, be open, be nice, be empathetic, listen as best you can. And if you have a conflict with somebody who is telling you XYZ, this is my experience, and it still doesn't ring true for you, I really encourage you to step back from the project, because they know better. Sometimes you will run into a situation when you have to accept the humility. This is where the humility comes into play. Like, you don't know. Okay. You may think you do, but you don't. And, being kind and just being like, okay, I think I'm better suited for a different type of project. Maybe this is too dangerous for me to do. I don't want to do any damage. I'm just going to walk away from this one, or I will talk to even more people and try to really polish this out. Your two choices. Anyway. Okay. So I really hope that works. Kimberly, if you have Trevor Bellina has a question. Type it in the comments whenever you want. Do you know where the remote is? I looked all over the house. Thanks, honey. No, I do not. I do not know where the remote is. I think it is on the table last I checked. Maybe next to the TV if I put it out of the kids' reach. So check that. Okay. Joseph LaForest asks, while the unions in the industry are on strike, can I still do a BTS for independent productions? A lot of people have a similar situation where they don't want to scab, they don't want to walk away. The short answer is yes. Obviously, if it's anything associated with the AMPTP, do not cross the picket lines, because even if you take something as harmless as like, oh, I was just an extra, or, oh, I was just a PA, like, people are looking for work. We get it. But this is important. The strike is important. The standing up for people getting treated like people and not like AI content. is incredibly important. And I maybe will do a video at some point describing the strike, describing the issues at hand here. That could be important, but let's just say don't cross the picket lines, and better safe than sorry. If you think there's a project that's got like a lot of money and it's got a studio and you did your homework, but it doesn't seem you can't find an answer as to whether or not they're like scabbing the unions or hurting unions or anything, just walk away from the project, because you don't want to risk it, because it would include people. Anybody who crosses the picket line is henceforth lifetime ban away from ever joining the unions once everything starts back up again. I have faith that agreements will be reached, we'll move forward, projects will be made, and hopefully people will be treated fairly and paid accordingly for their work now and going forward. If the company is making money, why aren't you sharing with the people that helped you make that project successful? I just don't understand. Okay. But yes, to Joe's question, anybody who wants to work on an independent project, and there are even SAG-AFTRA agreements for micro budget, which are really recently being pushed to the independent filmmakers like myself, because SAG-AFTRA can work on independent projects as long as it's not, with the unions or whatever. So Sam Zilic asks, when filmmakers make an indie movie, do you like that they stay within their film family and it's the same actors over and over again? Or do you like it when they use new talent? And how do you feel about this? I am I like good stories. To answer this question, for me, it's all about the story. It's all about whether the direction is good, the storytelling, the film language, all of it has to come together for me. I don't nitpick about who's in it. I don't particularly mind if it's in the same sort of filmmaker family, as Sam put it. I think that it's nice when filmmakers kind of come together, and these are all artists that are working together. It takes a lot of work to put together a film. If an actor hits it off with a director and you see them cross-pollinating on multiple projects, or the same composer is on all the projects for this one particular director, like that camaraderie is genuine and sustains the art, and they help each other grow. I don't see any problem with seeing the same actors on the same projects over and over and over again. In fact, Francis Ford Coppola wanted to build a company behind it. Like, it flopped because the first movie out of the gate that was supposed to make money didn't, and so the whole thing went into the ether. But the mission was really good. He put together a cadre of actors and crew members, all of which had a long-standing multi-year contract to work on whatever was in the pipeline. So yeah, it was guaranteed that you would see the same actors in multiple movies. It was guaranteed that the DP would be the same across the multiple projects, and all of them would basically be have a steady paycheck that was generated by the income from all of these various projects. That was a good idea. 4-day work weeks, like that was also another idea that he had. Like, don't torment these filmmakers and keep them for 16-hour days away from their families for weeks on end. I think that there's a lot of heart to having a group of people come together and say, hey, I want to make more projects with you. Yeah, I want to make more projects with you. Like, there are some in the chat right now that I would love to make more projects with. So Sam, to answer your question, I'm down for whatever. If you have like if you have a longstanding director and producers bring in new talent, then yeah, I'm curious about that as well. So I am down for whatever is basically the answer for it. I prioritize when I'm watching a movie. The first things I look at aren't what faces are on the poster. They're more to me about, does this movie have a great storyline? How's the plot? How's the acting? How's the sound? How's everything? And if they recycle the actors, I'm like, oh, that's cool that behind the scenes they must get along because they're on the same projects together. So that's cool. Hope that answers your question, Sam. Connor Morley asks, congratulations again on your award-winning film, my friend. Oh, his question is related. I would like to submit a topic about festival awards and what we can expect regarding our tremendous achievements at the 48. And they are tremendous indeed. He is intending to put his director's cut into the festival circuit, and he's asking me what to expect. Short answer is expect nothing, but hope for good things. It depends on the festivals. There are hundreds upon thousands, like hundreds, like thousands of festivals out there with various reputations, various running times, various notoriety, or anything like that. Um, your film is awesome. Um, I know because I'm in it. But different festival runners have different tastes as well. So you may think you have a wonderful piece of art, and this goes for everybody. You may think that you have a wonderful piece of art, but when you put it in the festival circuit, you're only getting maybe one third of the acceptances you would expect, because different people are looking at all of these films, and different people have different tastes. And so you don't know if you're speaking to somebody's taste or not. You can only say, I liked my stuff, and I'm going to put it out there and see if other people like that stuff. But don't expect, just be grateful when those things happen, because with the higher quality project you have, obviously, I think the higher your acceptance rate overall. But just handle it with humility and grace. And I know that your film is really good, so I would be surprised if it wasn't accepted to at least, I don't know how many, like a third of the festivals. That's a really good percentage. Like to get 33% acceptances through FilmFreeway, they even track it for you. It's nice. And yeah, I think you're going to get some awards, my friend. So next up, let's see, Mario Silva Tavares, who is awesome, is a writer and a filmmaker. He says, maybe you can talk about different directors' styles of filmmaking and what, in your opinion, makes them great. Not sure if you're a fan of Quentin Tarantino. If so, you can cover him and his great storytelling and great writing dialogues. Great at writing dialogues. Yes. Wow. I think the most compelling thing that I find value in when I'm thinking of any director is their voice, the uniqueness, something that makes them them. So their Quentin Tarantino is a great example. When he was first coming out onto the scene, people were telling him he wrote too much dialogue. And you know what? He breaks the rule of show, not tell. All of his stuff is telling, all of his stuff, but is full of dialogue and very elocucious. Like he breaks the Gilmore Girls rule as well, where everybody sounds the same. When you look at a Quentin Tarantino script, you know you are reading a Quentin Tarantino script. It is full of sass, humor, and a lot of expository text, but somehow it's in his voice, and he is concise, and the flowery language lands. Whereas other people trying to recreate his style would flop on their faces and sound pretentious or trying too hard. That feeling would come across. He's unique. And he was stubborn, because when those people were coming at him and saying, this is not going to fly, this is not going to work, we don't want this script, he kept pushing anyway. So the hustle inside his heart is absolutely real too. And every director needs that too. Every writer-director combination needs to believe in their work to a certain degree. Keep honing your craft, keep working on it, and it'll come to fruition at some point. You're going to make a project that will find its audience, that will resonate with somebody, that will make somebody's day go, oh, that was really cool. That was unique. I didn't see that before. I like that. I like the unique stuff. And I love to see their growth as well. Like, not everybody has a perfect film every single time. I don't think that exists in the history of ever. But to see that something from one project is better than it was in a previous project is also interesting to me. So those two things, I think, different directors' styles, as long as it's unique, because some people really like the sweeping angles. Steven Spielberg really, really moves the camera through a scene. He's got long oneers. I love that. I think it's great. It brings back kind of a theatrical feel, and it makes it more naturalistic, because, yeah, people on the day move through their life from one room to another room, doing something while they're talking. I think that's great, but it's hard to capture on film, but he does. And he makes his films are better for it, and they're in his style because he wants that. I could go on and on about particular directors. Maybe I'll make a video about it, but that's the idea. The basic idea is that I think that as long as they've got a clear voice and the product is beautiful to look at and sounds good, I'm down. I love it. Okay, Milton Rocha asks, can you make a short movie in only one day? Yes. The answer to that question is yes. In fact, there are 24-hour film challenges out there that you can even sign up for and do the challenge by yourself or build a team and do the challenge in 24 hours. You write, shoot, edit, and submit a whole film in just one day. Yes, you can. And I would encourage you, Milton, to try it just literally at home. Try writing something, try filming it with your phone, and try editing it together in one day. Just sacrifice a Saturday and see what happens because it's fun. I'm here to tell you, it is fun. Okay, I have a couple people that submitted questions. I'm going to lump them together. They're saying, because it's all related. So I've got one actor and one DP who actually submitted a similar question. So I'm just lumping it together. I am having trouble getting a reel together because I am new and I haven't been hired to do many gigs. So I don't have many projects to speak of. Clearly, the fact that two people submitted this independently speaks to the fact that a lot of people are in your boat. So I hope it helps. For the DP side, it's I think maybe a little easier than it is for the actor side because the DP has the power to grab one of these and start making shots. Change the film, change the FPS to 60 and make some slow-mo footage. Try to make a product video in your own kitchen. Grab that bottle of soy sauce, Greek it so that it doesn't have the right label on it so that you can put it online without penalty. I mean, it's fine probably for as like a demo or whatever, and make some demo shots. Grab a light like this to make it interesting. Try to throw up a sheet in the background so that it has an interesting uniform layer. Do something interesting so that you can just grab it and like go and make your own reel. Sometimes especially when you're starting out, you have to make your own opportunities. You have to practice your craft by yourself. And for actors, similar message, but I know that it's harder because to stand in front of a camera and act, you still need a script and you still need somehow to film it, right? Now, again, the cameras right now are pretty powerful, so you should put your monologues out there, try to get a microphone on your lapel that feeds into your phone, and just go for it from that way. Try to grab some monologues from plays that are license free, that are in the public domain. Try to record yourself outside to make it visually interesting. Or even better, like try to emote and then put some beautiful pictures over it. Cause maybe you want to be a voice actor and you can put that kind of reel together. Find some nice stock footage that you can use or go outside and take some beautiful pictures and put together your own reel. Start really basic, but it should not hold you back. The fact that you haven't been hired for a gig just means that you're starved for content, but the spirit is there. If you want this, then just make it happen by yourself, because if you've got a phone, you can make a reel. So don't think that you need somebody else's help to kickstart your own dream. Do it for yourself. You know what I mean? I hope that helps. And in fact, actually, one of the DPs that I had a conversation with just posted her first reel. So good job, Alicia. Shout out to you. Yeah. Okay. Now moving on to questions from Discord. Discord is awesome. The filmmaking community on Discord is bar none. Is just so wonderful. I got a question from Korvar. What do you look for in a script or project? What puts you off immediately? Great questions. Script or project are two different animals. I will tackle the script question first. When somebody sends me a script, one of the first things I notice is the formatting. Does this person understand the basics of how the formatting looks, like the cover page, the information in the right place, fade in, and all of the things? Because that is also a script language. And it's like that for a reason. For hundreds of years, it's a standard for a reason. So basically, I mean, it varies, like, oh, it's 1/4 an inch here versus 1 inch on this side. Who cares? The idea of saying, I wrote a script, and this has happened to me, and then I get a Word document of lines of text where the character's name is like kind of too close. I can't even parse it. I've gotten those texts. And those projects usually don't go anywhere, because if the writer is not ready to even put in the work to format it nicely so that fresh eyeballs can consume it quickly, then that also speaks to either a lack of time or a lack of dedication, sad to say, where if they couldn't even format it, how are they expecting to share the message with a bunch of people who have never seen it before, who you want to bring onto the project? It's also kind of like how you solicit the help you need. So the first thing that if it's not formatted, I have like a 90% rejection reflex where I'm like, okay, I don't think that this person is ready for this. But that said, I will read it, and usually I just wind up, it fizzles out because of one reason or another. But I usually give those scripts a chance because yes, people are starting out, but I still, it's pretty not so good when I open up a script and it reads like a Word document and some of it is in prose. No, there are tons of formatting things out there. So that's the first thing. The second thing that I'll notice in a script is whether or not the person, like I'll notice it within the first page. If the person is strong in dialogue or the person is strong in descriptions. Most of the time, the scripts that I get are incredibly strong in dialogue, and there's like very little descriptions. The Shakespeare approach, I call it, because Shakespeare didn't know that his work was going to survive for half a millennia and beyond. So when he was writing stuff, he was intending to direct it. And he knew his theater. He knew what the Globe was. He knew the sets that would be available. He knew the costumes that would be available. He knew his actors. So he wrote very minimal descriptions on who stood where and what, and when they stood up and when they coughed and when they looked at each other and when there was a pause, like very sparse with the beat was in there. And sometimes I'll get what I call a Shakespeare script, where it's really powerful dialogue and like a little bit of description, like a little bit of description. And I'm like, okay, playing to their strengths. Cool. Let's talk about more about this. And so I'll notice whether there's a strength in one direction or another. And sometimes I'll get that power mesh of like, this person's got really strong dialogue and the descriptions are evocative AF. And I'm really thrilled when I see a script like that. Those are great. In fact, I just got one in my inbox. I'm under NDA, so I can't talk about it, but wow, it's a really good script. Okay. Shout out to you, Ben. Well done. Okay, let's see. We have another question from the Discord. Okay, Izcat says, at what point in my career do I achieve the right to call myself a seasoned filmmaker? Now, I know you were sassing me when you asked this question, because I said in the Discord, I was like, all right, what kind of questions does anybody want to ask a seasoned filmmaker like myself? I think the switch flipped for me after I started my own company and started making my own things for real. Because I always had that imposter syndrome in the back of my mind, like, I'm not a filmmaker, I'm not a writer, I shouldn't self-identify as these things. But then when I took ownership of it and I realized that I was sitting on 20 years of experience, then I started to look at myself differently. And I know that you were kind of sassing me over here, but when I started my own stuff and put my first project out there and claimed the voice of director and claimed the voice of writer, that's when I really started to realize that I was also seasoned at that point, because I had all of this experience and I could say a thing or two. And not to say that I'm done learning, but I still got I definitely have more than just the average beginner. So there's a balance there. I think that's the answer to your question, you sass. All right, see you later. Sam Alexander. Oh, hi, Sam. Okay, Sam Alexander asks, any helpful advice on how to sell a spec script, including what sorts of agencies or / production companies to consider selling to? Sam is just starting out. He went on to sort of elaborate in this in the chat. And advice. This is tough, right? Because I am indie. So most of the time when I deal with a script or I write a script of my own, either or, the barrier to creating that thing is far lower than what you're talking about. You're talking about industry. You're talking about making it on the higher level where people will buy a script from you and pay you for being a writer. You can do that in indie, but fewer people in the indie community do that because they have friends who write a script, or they have writer-director combinations, or they have writer-actor combinations. And so it's less popular for somebody in the indie community to be like, okay, I need a writer. I need to hire a writer to write this script for me. That doesn't happen as often as it does in the mainstream industry. So if you're answering the mainstream industry because you want to make writing your paycheck, then you have to demonstrate your writing through work samples. It's the chicken and the egg problem. You get experience by having experience. You get more experience by getting hired because of your prior experience. It's a mess. So same rules apply as the actors and the DPs out there trying to make their reel. You have to demonstrate your own work too. And we went on to talk about this in the chat. So writing small samples of your work to catch people's eye, to make your voice very crisp and clear in your writing, to be the Quentin Tarantino of your own identity, and to prove that you can make anything interesting. Can you make a 15-second short about what's in your kitchen? Can you make a compelling 1-minute short about what's in your backyard? Can you make a compelling 5-minute short about what's going on your street? That's 3 shorts right there that you can self-make, create, and put out there for free on your website or on your demo or whatever, and prove bit by bit, I'm a writer. This is what I wrote. This is head-turning dialogue. This is head-turning conceptualization. This is my unique take on the world. Put that out there. And once you've turned a few heads that way, then you can write the scripts. This is my take on the last season of Friends. This is what I would have done if I wrote the last episode of Lost. This is how I would have handled the last episode of The Sopranos. Make it your own. Write something passionate and something that demonstrates your work. But don't expect to sell even that, because what you're selling when you go to a pitch meeting is yourself, is your skill, is your voice, is your uniqueness. That's what you're selling. That's why when you get the classic, hey, what else you got? Trope. That's where it comes from, because it's true. Sometimes people are like, okay, we're soliciting scripts, but what they're really saying is we're soliciting people. We're soliciting new blood. We're soliciting fresh voices. You hope that you have a drawer full of samples that you can point to and say, this is what I can do. This is what I want to do. And also, this is what I have done. Those 3 things, you don't have to wait too long before you develop that drawer, as I put it, with those 3 little compartments in it. And so, yeah, at the very beginning, you will feel like an island. The conversation kind of went on from that. And you're not alone. You're not. The actor that I was talking about felt like an island. Nobody around me likes film. Nobody around me wants to do film. That's such an identifiable feeling. And it goes across the world. Like, Sam, you're sitting in England. Hi from England, by the way. Thank you for being here. But we've got Milton in Boston. We've got a DP out in Lawrence. We've got all sorts of people dispersed everywhere with a passion for film in one way, shape, or form. And you're not alone. And you will find your way to your people who also felt that way for a little while. And then they started collaborating. Hey, I met this actor friend that wants to get started. Hey, this writer friend. And that's kind of what Friendly Filmmaker is about. So if you want to join the mailing list, I try to have like this community tab where I bring those types of people together. I'm like, okay, here's a acting post by this person, or here's a writing gig for this person, or here's a musician that needs some help here. Like, I try to create a little space where these people can find each other. So maybe on that mailing list, it's free anyway, so just sign up, whatever. You can find more voices like that, and it'll be a lot of fun. So yeah, Sam, good luck to you. I love your writing. By the way, look out for Sam Alexander, everybody, because I like his writing style already, just by him expressing his plights as a new writer. So yeah, I like his voice already. All right. Oh, here we go. Anonymous asked, any advice on writing a script, especially on a timely basis? Yes. And Discord was sort of sassy to this person. I don't want to blow up their name because they did not give me permission. So they don't want to be. Okay. Any advice? But the question is sound. The question is, okay, I want to be a writer. but how do I do it? Like there seems to be a wall. What happens is that the wall is in your mind. What you want to do is build writing into your day. And this goes for actors and DPs and everybody else, and musicians, whatever. Build a little bit of time in the day that is sacred art time, whatever your art is. So for the writer, put your butt in the chair between 6 and 7 o'clock in the morning before you go to work. That's your writing time. That's how you start to do little by little. You don't overnight write a script. You don't get into the zone. You don't have to wait for some muse on high to come and visit you. No, you create the space for the muse to have room to visit you. And so every single day, if you've got half an hour, if you've got 15 minutes, I was working at Starbucks, oh my God, 20 years ago now. And I would only have 15-minute breaks on back-to-back 8-hour shifts. And I remember I would take this pink notebook and this pink pen and this purple whatever, like little markers or whatever. And on my 15-minute break, which counted when I hit the button, taking my apron off, sit down in a chair. So really it works out to like 12 minutes. But I was still there with my 12 minutes twice during those shifts, writing, scribbling. You know what I wrote? I wrote a 120-page book that turned into a trilogy that nobody has ever seen because I haven't self-published it. Maybe I'll come back to it now with more experience. Maybe it'll be something before, but that's what I was doing. Don't hold yourself back by thinking you need some magical space or some magical kick in the butt. Make your own kick in the butt. You have to be a little bit self-motivated about this. And so put your butt in the chair. Find what works for you. Do you have 15 minutes? Cool. Make it. Are you a morning person? You work better? Wait, set your alarm just a little bit earlier and say, this is my sacred writing time. My mind is fresh before I go to work and deal with traffic or whatever other nonsense I've got going on. That's my writing time. Bit by bit by bit by bit, you'll see after a year, you've written a book. After a year, you've written your first feature-length script. You can do it. You can absolutely do it. Holler in the comments if you agree. How many of you self-started? I'm curious, actually, for the writers in the group. We got Nikki, we got Kimberly, we got, who else do we have? We have a whole bunch of people. Sam, how do you write so that this person doesn't feel like they have to just be told, oh, just start writing? No, make your own time. There's help in hearing other people's specifics. For me, it was the Starbucks story. How many of you have a similar Starbucks story where you were like, there was life going on and you still made time? Because that's what has to happen. All right. Next question. Yeah, right. Nikki knows. Nikki's saying, yes, so true, right? You just find your time, especially like yup. So hard to get myself to sit down to write, but it feels great when you do. Amen. Amen, sister. Yes, that's right. That's exactly right. That's how I feel too. That's how I feel. Oh my God. Yes. Yes. So anonymous, wherever you are, bud, we're thinking of you. We're not making fun of you. Seriously. So I know you got a little grief when you posted your question in the Discord, but I'm here for you, bud. I've felt where you felt, but you know what? Sometimes you just got to go to a notebook store, got to buy a pen that speaks to you and just craft out your time and push and push and push until you make yourself, hey, I'm a writer. I'm a writer now. I write every day. You can do it. Okay. TMGF, I'd love to hear your thoughts on what makes an effective story and how you portray it through visuals and sound. This may sound like a generic question, but it's not. It's so good. It starts for me with the script. Characters that are compelling and identifiable. Even if they're evil, I tend not to write strictly evil characters. For me, what speaks to me is like a three-dimensional onion of a person. I like the complexity. And sometimes for me, I also like to challenge stereotypes. So just doing the unexpected and playing with the unexpected. Like somebody sees, for example, like somebody sees a character walking down the street that looks like Barbie, since Barbie is so in right now, that looks like Barbie, and she's carrying a purse. And then she reaches inside her purse and pulls out, fill in the blank. I've just given you a writing prompt. That kind of subversion of expectation speaks to me. Something unique, like we were talking about earlier about speaking in your voice. Quentin Tarantino has his style of writing that I could never replicate, but I like it when people are like processing the world in a concise and unique way. That's what I love to hear in the story. What makes an effective story? If it grabs you. And one thing to remember is that different strokes for different folks is very true. I don't want to see, for example, like body horror films, like those are not my cup of tea, but other people love them. And I don't know why. So you have to remember that you also need to know your audience a little bit, and don't try to please everybody, because then you're pleasing nobody. It's a common saying, and it's true. So I love something that is strong and unique and has good characters and a clear voice, preferably for each character. Quentin Tarantino makes all of his characters sound pretty similar, even though they're coming from different things and talking about different things, which is what sets him apart, because everybody else is like Gilmore Girlsing it up when they try. But I love to have characters who grow, characters who are three-dimensional, and especially what sings to my heart is when they defy stereotypes and you learn something unexpected, because people are different. And it's fun to get to know people during the course of a story. How you portray it through visuals and sound is talking about filmmaking language. Now you're talking to the directors and the DPs of the world, and even the sound engineers, because I know some people that are very, very obsessive about, I want to run a sibilance on this one, or this person needs this particular microphone because it makes their voice come out. But for this project, we want the squeakier side of the voice. And for this project, we want the sound to be like, oh, this is a radio DJ coming at you live. So different people will latch onto different parts of how to evoke the story and how to present the story. Like I said, with the sound person, or clear visuals. That is, again, up to interpretation, because filmmaking language, the rule of thirds, leading lines, Dutch angle, all of that stuff, lighting techniques, that is that's the grammar of film. But what you say once you know the language is entirely up to you. So I can't really speak to this on a general sense because it is so very general. As long as it's consistent, as long as the director has a clear vision, I'm along for the ride. And so for me, an effective story with wonderful, rich, deep characters, an interesting plot, even if it's moving, I'm all along. And presented where the director sees what the story is and uses consistent imagery to make it feel natural, is key, is clutch, is how it's done, right? It's the secret sauce that makes the magic spell work. I hope I answered the question. I know I would. I hope it came through. All right. Oh, Tony is asking. Oh my God, I just got it. I said it out loud for the first time. Hi, Tony. Tony. He spelled it T-O. Anyway. Okay, Discord, hit it up. It's a great community. Tony asks, if I were to buy a used cinema camera, what should I get? I have 3,000 to 4,000 budget, 3 to 4K. A lot of people are this question because there comes a certain point where if they, especially they want to be a like advance in their career, make themselves hireable, if they've decided that they want camera work in their life and they want to be a DP, they need gear. They need to be associated with something that they've really learned how to use and master and everything else. Now, saying what should I get sometimes can feel like walking into a hardware store and saying, all right, I'm in the hardware store, I've got this much money, what should I buy? The follow-up question to Tony's and other people's question is, what are you planning to do? You are in a hardware store. Why? Are you making a garden? Do you need a shovel? Do you need some gloves? Do you need some outdoor rigging? Or are you doing a house construction project where you're adding a bookshelf that's custom built inside your own house? Because you're going to be buying different tools for that. So if you're vlogging, and if you're doing self tapes, or if you're doing DP work where you are going out and shooting videos for real estate, or or you're going to go out and do some cinema projects where it's narrative film storytelling, that will lead you to your answer. a lot of people responded to him saying, hey, get the Sony FX or get the Black Magic or definitely invest in some lenses. And I agree to all of that, but with the asterisk that you have to know what it is that you want to do next. Cameras will come and go, especially the camera bodies. Once you've invested in some lenses, those tools are yours for a long time because the body changes faster than the lenses do. I have had some lenses for literally like 10 years. My first lens, I still have it and I still use it. It's an award-winning lens, I'll have you know, Lumix High. And it's dirt cheap in regards to other lenses. It's a variable lens, so it got me started on the Black Magic, and it helped me learn. It helped me learn. You may want to rent first. I'm not a renter per se because I get a lot out of the comments and talking to other people at this point. And I'm like, okay, this is definitely the next lens I want to invest in long term. And I've never been unhappy buying a lens. I've been lucky just because I did my homework and I was like, I don't think I need to rent it for $200 when the whole thing costs $800. Like, I think I'll just invest now and play with it long enough to know that I like it. So to answer your question, if you want autofocus, if you want to vlog, or if you want to do run and gun style, documentary style shooting, or something that requires autofocus, put that on your must-have list, and then the rest will come. So I want to, if you want to do cinema work, start out with the Black Magic. That's definitely, it's a cinema camera that was literally used in Hollywood productions. In fact, the Fantastic Box, like part of it was literally like borderline filmed in his backyard just to get sounds and stuff like that. And oh, what am I thinking of? I'm thinking of a specific Hollywood project where, oh, I know who it is. Pony Smasher. David, oh, I'm so bad with names. The guy who directed Shazam filmed part of it in his backyard with his Black Magic because he wanted a particular shot. If I'm wrong, let me know in the comments. But I think that I've got it right. So to autofocus or not to autofocus, that's one. And then spend less on the body than you do on the accessories because the accessories will be with you for a long time. Those EO6 batteries, they will last you for a long time. Those lenses that you buy, they will last you for a long time. The cables are sticking around. The camera body is the most likely thing to change on you. So just consider that when you're shopping, and happy learning, because all of it comes down to how you use the tools that you bought, not what tools you buy right away, especially when you're starting out. So hope that answers your question. And anybody in the same boat, happy shopping. Oh, hey, I got some links in the description. They're affiliate links. Just, it would help me out if anybody used them. Just saying. Okay. So next one, I have some questions here that I pulled from the Reddit and some more for consumption here. Here we go, Reddit. Hello, I'm a screenplay writer and aspiring director. Same boat, man. I have written many screenplays for short films that I want to direct. How do I get my foot in the door? Is it recommended to get an agent or an investor? What is the cheapest, easiest way to get one of my films made? Wow, that's a lot of questions. Okay, so cheapest way to get your film made, do it yourself. Like I've been saying, like if you have a camera and you got some time, that's what you need. So that's the cheapest way to get some samples of your work out there. My films are experimental. Definitely get your voice. I mean, this person already knows their voice. They know they want to be this type of filmmaker, and go to it. Just get it done. Easier said than done, I know. But that's the answer to your question. And as for aspiring directors and writing screenplays for things that they want to direct, how to get your foot in the door, you shove your foot in the door by getting your projects down and maybe building a team that will work for free, or pizza or beer or accolades or anything like that. Get it and then, you know, swap favors and start to make your dreams come true by that way. So that's my thinking on that question. Next question. I also had, here we go. Oops. I'm going to begin at the beginning, as they say. I'm a newbie filmmaker and going to shoot green screen for the first time on a commercial shoot. It is very basic and boring concept, but I have a question. I want to shoot with a very shallow depth of field and focus on my subject. The background is going to be replaced by a beach. Is this going to be a problem? Anything. Okay. So, and this was actually answered in the Discord but I will share it with you guys because it's very, very nice. Green screens, I just learned about for my last film, Dibs on Mars. It's easier and harder than you think. It's easier to run the key and do the ultra key matting out than you thought, create a mask around your thing and trash everything else. That can be easy and fun. But now you're talking about also the flyaway hairs. Like, look, when you key it out, not only that hair is going to be here, the color is going to seep through. So now you're opening up a world of complexity where that has to not happen, right? You want to get that green out of there. But then when you start to take those pixels out, now everything looks really, really hard lines, pixelated and gross, because all the green, if you take out all the green, it takes out some of the hairs too, or whatever is going on around your shoulders or whatever. Like, so it's a tough balance to key out your subject. So to add complexity by shooting it depth of field, where this is already fuzzy and this is nice and clear, like you got your eyes in focus and everything else is fuzzy, you are making your world of hurt in the editing bay. So what you want to do is you open up the lens to a very wide depth of field, so you get everything in laser sharp focus. And then when you add the depth of field effects, by replacing the background to the beach, you add a filter and some masks to make it look like it's fading off into the background. And then you do the same thing to your subject. That's an editing trick, so that you create your mask here, and then you start to apply a filter that makes it fuzzier as you go out. There are YouTube videos that can show you how to do this, but I just wanted to bring it up because it's a very good shooting question. It's indicative of a good mind to know that when you shoot something, you have to plan how it's going to be edited to make everybody's life easier. And this person is asking a really great question. I've never worked with a green screen before. Do I shoot at depth of field because that's what I want it to look like at the end? And the answer is no. In this particular case, the answer is no. Shoot everything laser tack focus so that you get every single hair perfectly in focus, and then you have the freedom and the space to manipulate it in post to get the effects exactly correct, versus keying out your subject when it's fuzzy, it's ugly, it's borderline unusable if it's too fuzzy and polluted with all the powers and the pixels and stuff. So thank you for that amazing question. Moving on. I'd love to hear, okay, I'd already answered that one, sorry. Oh, how do you merge clips in GarageBand? There are videos on YouTube that can tell you how to do this. This person wanted to pull in other stuff, and you can, two ways that I know is copy and paste it. For one, I think GarageBand can do this, where you can copy and paste it in there. And the other way, I was able to actually load it as an MP3, open it with GarageBand, and then have that two projects open side by side, and then just copy and paste onto a third track, and you're able to do it that way. GarageBand is not the friendliest program to use, so good question. Let's see here. Yep, back to the question on the A7C versus the Blackmagic. Those are definitely the two consumer friendly, like definitely spending no more than 1K on a camera if you're first starting out, and then the rest of your 3K budget can go to lenses and things that will last you a long, long time. So. And yeah, that's it. Wow. We did it. A lot of fast talking. And my goodness, have I seriously been here for almost an hour? That's fantastic. I love everybody's questions. I love everybody's enthusiasm. This was amazing. Thank you, everybody, for watching and staying with me the entire time. And I'm so grateful for all of you. Thank you for all your questions. If you have any more, drop any before I sign us off. One last thing that I'll do is I'll read some comments that I had on the YouTube, which were compliments. And I'm so happy because usually, as everybody says, don't read the comments. Well, I read the comments, and I've gotten some sweet ones this week. Somebody said, "This is great." And then another person said, "Underrated AF." And I'm like, oh, that's wonderful. I'm glad you guys are liking my shorts. More to come. I'm actually going to do another video. Nikki, I'm working on your video for the self-lighting techniques. I just want to make it really, really polished. And so it's actually taking a long time to edit. But I hope you enjoy it. That's going to be a video for coming out soon. And then I've got another video that I'm going to work on about making 60 films in 60 days. Look forward to that. So if anybody likes what you saw, like, subscribe, help me out. And yay, I'm actually really excited to share it with you. It's just taking a very long time to edit. And I'm excited. Thank you everybody for coming. Like, subscribe, do all the things, submit questions for future AMAs, drop comments. I'm available, and I will talk to everybody soon. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Bye.